Hello, welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket and more of the 100% junk edition of Let's Make Journals. So, last week we ended over here. I'm going to show you what happened to this pocket. If you remember, these cards were all drying and I needed to make a repair because I had ripped the pocket in the design of it. So, here's what happened. The cards dried. Imagine that. And then I had to put some extra bits in, so I put a piece of that orange paper in. I think we might need another repeat of it right down here. We'll see in a minute. In a minute we'll talk about that. And then on the other side, I put a little strip across the top that's folded to the inside as well, so that this is also strengthened. This might actually need a couple more pieces to finish it off. I'm not sure. What I can tell you is that this pocket is getting ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So this piece, all dried and finished, I like it the way it is, but it might need a word or a sentiment or a little cluster, something here or on the back even, or, you know, it might need a thing, but I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm just going to tuck this into where it's going to go. Then the orange sunset flower card, right? Might need a tab, a little pull tab thingy. I don't know, maybe. But it goes in here. And I cut the tiniest little hair off the bottom and then refinished the bottom because I just wanted a little bit more of the flower in the window. A little bit, just a tiny bit. Okay, then there's this thing. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So some adjusting is going to have to happen here because this pocket is where the folds of the envelope double. So it's in there, and it is not only hard to get the edge of, but it's also hard to get anything in the pocket when other stuff are in their pockets is. Okay, so I had to like two hands and tip it the right way and whatever. I did decide to put it in with the purple and the front of the card showing this side instead of this side because this side seems pretty, this side seems pretty nice and layered already. This side was a little bit plainer and could use a little bit of frill at the top, so that happened. And then this card goes in this newly strengthened pocket. Because there are so many things going on in this multi-pocket thingy, it just gets super tight at the end there. So the fix for that is trim this card a tiny speck and possibly also this card a tiny speck. So to start with, I'm going to leave this card in the window. I should have just left it there in the first place. Yeah, that one's going to need trimming also because it's really tight fit, even with this knot in there. But this little guy can just be this has got to be like a 1/16 of an inch. That's a tiny little thing. Then it looks like we used red and red purple. So I'm going to go into that orange red and the purple again and make a purple red orange brown as we were doing last week. I need water. You should see the water. The water is purple red orange brown. I might not even need to use paint really. It's so colored. All right, I'm gonna blot that off on the napkin up there, and there we go. Now, I did say I believe the other one's going to need trimming anyway. It's still a super tight fit. So let's go ahead and do some adjusting to this one. I'm going to do the same thing. A super narrow strip, just following up the side. And I'm going to do it on both sides. Since this is a tag, I'm going to try to get a 1/32 of a strip to give me that whole 1/16 of a trim. I have no idea how accurate that was. Probably not even sort of close. But, you know, you get the idea, right? I'm still making a very small adjustment. And I'm still, and I'm just doing it on both sides. So that the tag still ends up even. This is just the water. Look at that. Good grief. I still don't like how white this, I mean, it's a mountain, right? It's supposed to be, that's where the mountain ends and the sky begins, and it's supposed to all make sense, but I just don't like it. It looks like a mistake rather than a mountain. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but right now I just do not like that edge of this card. Maybe I'll just leave it like that and see what happens. So these are trimmed, but now we're going to let those dry a little bit before we put them back in that pocket, which means we can move on to what we're supposed to be doing today. Ah! Let's get back to our list. So we're past the middle, we're past the half and half page, we're onto this pocket. Strengthen the tear. Oh, okay, yep. This is the one that has a hole in it. Color the pocket. Make the tag a tag shape. Add a ribbon. Color the edges. Okay. So we're going to make it a tag shape. I think I'm going to do, I don't want to follow this angle exactly, because that seems like it, unless oh, good grief. I am so indecisive, aren't I? If I follow it exactly, it'll give it a cut edge. Maybe that'll work. I think this is going to look ridiculous, and I'm going to hate this, honestly. I've seen tags like this with this shape before, and I just don't like them. So why am I doing it? Well, because it makes sense of the tree. That's why. Put those aside. There we go. There's the tag. Yep, I'm right. I don't like it. But there it is. It's our tag. So let's tone down the plaid with the same color that we toned down the other plaids, even though this should have been done before I glued the trees on. So we've got the red, orange, purple stuff, but I'm still just using the water. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to pat that. Oh, I need to get the napkin where I can reach it better and get the scissors out from under it. It's hard to blot over the top of the scissors. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm hoping that when that dries, that'll look better. And then I'm going to go back to our original green color. But I'm going in there with their red, purple, brown, orange color. So it's going to tint this green a little bit. Not a ton. Look at that. It's still a lovely green. It's a little bit more of a blue green at this point, which I kind of like because there's blue in this more so than in some of the other pictures, and it is now incorporated. All right. I think I am going to add hopefully a skinny line, because I'm going to do it with this brush. But I'm going to add a shadow. Okay. I want to do this. There. Yuck. What a mess. There we go. What do you think? I like that. I like that. That is just peachy keen jelly bean. Now it said add a ribbon. I have this. This is just some, this is from the supply box, the original supply box. It's some leftover raffia and some twine, or baking twine or string or something. Some such thing from packaging, maybe. I don't know, because it's got knots, right? But I'm going to make a hole in this one and use this, I think. But let's... Okay, I'm going to cut off a piece that I hope is just way too big to make it easy to work with. But I'm going to roll it up in a ball and I'm going to throw it in the paint water. And I'm going to bury it. So let it soak up some paint water. And I will bring it back. Come here, you. Okay, let go. All right, there it is. Let's see if we can, let's get a cleaner side so you can see it a little better. There is the rope. A purpley pinky, pinky version of the colors in here. Totally matches. Look at that. Is it just, I mean, of course it matches, right? It's the same colors. But let's let that dry over there while we punch a hole in this thing. So, use the tip of your scissors. Use the end of a paintbrush. Use anything you got to make pokey holes. So I'm going to just do a spot right here, I think, and do this super slow and careful because this is a very sharp scissor and it will totally cut a hole in my fingers. There we go. It's going through. So I can move my hand a little bit and then just like this. In order to make this hole, I'm not going to cut the hole, right? I'm just going to cut off the stuff from both sides that it pushed out of its own way. If you do this, it will make more sense. I swear it makes sense. So when you use a thing like this to punch a hole, it raises up the bits and then just snip them off. Now to make this not look so raggedy, or wait, to make this look not so raggedy, I'm going to, shouldn't do this off camera. Okay, I'm going to take the paintbrush. I'm going to, I think, really purple up the water. Not I think, I did. I don't know how this is going to go though. But I'm going to purple up that spot. on both sides and let it soak in. This side could be trimmed a little more. It's not very flat. So let's get this little speck and this little speck. And boy, you can hardly even see that I've cut anything, but it does make a difference. So if you see parts that you think, gee, that's still sticking up quite a bit, go ahead and chop them off. Chop off the things that are sticking up. That is a joke that is not really all that funny, but I kind of like it. Alright, move the string out of the way. The next thing I want to do is a little bit trickier. So I think I'll take one of these super shiny papers, and I'm going to fill the hole in the tag with glue, liquid glue. You can use any liquid glue. I think you could probably use glue stick too, actually. And then I'm gonna tap it into the paper bits. What this is gonna do is when this all dries right, it's going to make it a bit more paper mache-like just where the hole is. So I could wait for this to dry, which is the better way to do this if you ever try this idea. Make sure that you wait for the glue to dry before you do this part, because it might wreck your tag, and it could very well wreck your scissors too. But, you know, in the interest of time, I just redid the same spot with my scissor end, and it creates like a film or a bubble or whatever over the spot that you want to be open, so I just opened it again. I just popped that little bubble. Now, let's let the string dry a little more and see what else it said to do. We'll let that glue dry a little too. Where are we? Pocket page. Strengthen the tear. Okay. So while that stuff is drying, let's figure out what we want to do right here, because I need something on this pocket to repair this tear, because we don't want it to all of a sudden become a big issue. I think what we should do right here is take something that we can fold in half and put it over both sides of this pocket. That's not wide enough. This one might be wide enough. It's not very exciting on this side though. Oh, but it would be, the silly girl, it would be folding over this bit. I don't know what in the world I was thinking when I said what I said. So this has a hole in it, so I'm wondering if this will even be tall enough. Let's try it and find out. This looks wide enough. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Hang on a sec. I do have other options. If this turns out to be not quite right, we can make a change. For sure. Okay, let's do that. And then let's do... So if you ever have to fold a thin piece like this in half the thin way, curl it first. It helps a ton. A ton. Not even just a little bit. It helps a ton. This doesn't have to be exact, since each side is on a separate side of the pocket. You won't even see what's happening if they're a little bit different. Here's the question. If I cut this off right at the top of the pocket, is that tear on or off the pocket? It looks like it's off, so I might be able to do this. That strengthens that hole, will make it so it doesn't turn into an issue. It adds color to this section. I don't want to add any more than this until the tag is done and in the pocket, because I don't want it to end up being too much. Gosh darn it, that's not gonna work. Well, I kind of cheated. I had that at a bad angle. And I chopped some of the pocket, but I did get that little bare spot off. So yeah, okay. I'm going to take sandpaper, since I have introduced it as a legitimate tool in this project, even though it really wasn't a legitimate tool to begin with. I'm gonna do both edges a tiny bit. Tiny. Oh my gosh, look how bad it wiggles my camera. I apologize. Let's see if it does as bad if I do it on the other side of the desk. Yes, it does. So when I move things around my office, I'm gonna have to do my camera mounts to not the desk. Okay. I've just decided to do a speck at the top and bottom too. That only makes sense. So a speck at the top and bottom. There we go. All right. Now let's get some red orange in here. Boy, that shakes the camera too. I've been shaking this camera the whole time, haven't I? Haven't I? Okay, I'm going to blot that a little bit before I put the other edge on. Otherwise, I'm just going to make a bigger mess. I made a big mess anyway, but a bigger mess. And then I'm just going to do this edge like so. I'm hoping this will bleed in, which is why I always work it on this edge, which is why I sanded the edges. Because I love that. That's why. Let's let that piece dry and see what else we're supposed to be doing. Make it a tag shape, add a ribbon, color the edge. Well, we're adding color to the edge by means of strengthening and fixing the tear. So strengthen the tear, color the pocket. I don't know, we might still add more to the pocket, but we'll wait till we get those pieces on and in. We fixed the tag. We added a ribbon almost. I mean, we dyed the ribbon. We have the ribbon. And color the edges of the tag. We did that. So we're done with that. Okay. Line hints and corner clusters. So I don't know if I'm going to do any more line hints because that was a pain in the rump roast. If I do, I might do it a little more on stuff back here. We have a ways to go. I was going to do it on this flip out, but look what happened when I used a fan brush to put some extra coffee on. So I took a lightly coffeed fan brush and just pulled it across the paper, and it already hinted at lines, and it did it on this too. So I am leaving this alone and not drawing in more, but I'm going to draw in more because I actually forgot how well this worked. I went and did this little thingy and the drawing on this little thingy. So I need to repeat that. I need to repeat both of those somewhere else in the book. Otherwise, it just looks dumb. So, we're going to leave that alone, except maybe some clusters. So let's set this aside while those are drying, and let's make up a couple more clusters. Clusters of stuff. So definitely we can do a cluster on this. Let's create some torn edges since our embellishments are so far torn edge. We can start with torn edge. Get this one as narrow as possible so we can maybe save that flower. And as narrow as possible up here so we don't dig into this flower any more than we have to. Okay, I think we can make a couple of different clusters on here. So let's unbury the tiny bits because they're buried again. It is so easy for me to lose track of all the itty bitty things. There's a flower and a flower and a flower. There's some more background bits. We won't use that anymore. We could use napkin here, here. Although the scrolly thing that I drew, the Zentangle bits that I drew that bled into this napkin are now completely obliterated, but this can still be used. Maybe we'll get into that so I can show you how that would work. We can certainly use more string and raffia if we want to, because now that is established as a thing and we might need to use it in other places as well. And we have these papers that can be used. This one doesn't belong here. Let me check what else we got in case we're missing more stuff. Because boy, are we getting down there in the supplies department. And there is a little bit more we can choose from. That and that. Possibly that. Definitely that, because I love tissue paper. That's a big fat nothing, really. Ooh, that's an interesting strip of I don't even know what. And there's some more of our metallics. Our metallic paper. Is the book aside because it's drying too? Gosh, I hope not, because I shut the book. It is not. Oh, thank goodness. I probably just made a mess of the pages we're working on. Okay. There we go. We got a cluster page. We have some bits and pieces. So I don't want to totally muddy up our plan. So what I mean by that is we have some pink and purple stuff going on. We have some yellow-orange stuff going on. There's green everywhere because this is a garden. There's brown everywhere because this is a garden. And so far we've been mixing the purple, red, orange, green, brown all together. And some places it is all together, some places it's alternated, some places it's separate. I want to go back to doing some separate. Because if we just keep going with everything samey same, then nothing is special, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. If everything's equal, nothing is special. And that's got some truth to it. It's got some truth. It's not 100% true. For all you hater people out there, stop it. But it is a little bit true that you want some contrast at every level. Some contrast at every level. So let's make some clusters like this, and let's make some clusters on here. And with this in mind, let's grab that sanding block again quickly, maybe quickly. Oh, there it is. And I will try to do the sanding bit off the desk, because I had not realized how bad that was. I apologize for each and every day that I did that. I think the unifying factor between these two different cluster pieces will be green edges, because it goes with everything we're doing. Everything. It goes with everything we're doing. All right, there we go. So this has a torn edge, this has a sanded edge. Same kinds of effects can be achieved with that. Let's do some cluster building. So I've been wanting to use this for quite a while. I think that we can use this as a torn bit down here, it looks like. So if I just follow the edge of this, and then tear it across the bottom, tear it actually all the way across the bottom, I think this can be a thing down in this corner, quite possibly. I think that this is a whole different thing. That could also be a background for clusters. It could be a future card. It could be other stuff we need to decorate in this book. We have a long ways to go, and we're actually running out of supplies. That is ridiculous, man. I'm not liking that so much. I'm not liking this so much either. Does it have anything better on the other side? Not really. Let's move it out of the way. So for one cluster, I kind of like, what if we made a tall cluster here and just took out this bit of garden wall? See that? Just put a bit of a garden wall on the side of this. I'm going to try that. Hard to tear away from me, so I had it the other way, but yeah, I am no good at this tearing in this direction. But this is how you get the wider white edge on the piece I want. All right, whatever. Gosh, that's awful now. Just awful. Okay, so here, you. Better. Now, what if we made a long cluster this way by putting this on this way? So that would go there. That means this would get torn off about like this. It doesn't have to be this tall, right? We could even pull the wall down so the flower's peeking over the wall, like so. Kind of like that. So I'm going to tear this off right there. There we got 2 steps of clusters. Wait a minute. We're not done with you. Stay here. We need you to do more work. Tear that yucky piece off though, because I didn't like it. Alright, so for this one, I think we should do a metallic stripe across the bottom. Or again, make a tall one, do it up the side. That's a gigantic cluster though. But look at how it mirrors the colors. Oh my goodness, that's lovely. I love that. Okay, I think those have to be two separate things because that mirrors these colors so nice that I'm going to save that right there. What if this then goes here? That's still a giant cluster. What if I pull this down way down here and cut it off right there? Does that still make a decent image? Yikes. Now I don't like it anymore. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use those, but I have this stuff in another area of the book. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what if we just put a sentiment or a word? Observer. I don't know if I like that. I don't even know where it came from. It was in some of the school papers, but I don't know what it's from. Those are not words I want to use. Those are the extras that are not from this. Let go. Kings. I don't think we want to use the word kings right now. No. What about, oh, rays stream down through a tree. But that's not true. They're streaming down on the flowers. We might have to, we are definitely going to find a place to put that. This does not fit here either, but this is definitely going in the book somewhere because I love this new word I found. Noctilucent. Noctilucent. It basically means glows in the dark. Or emits light in the dark, I think is more accurate. But I'm not entirely sure because it's brand new to me and I'm not great at that word yet. I hope to be. Because noctilucent is great, but it's shines at night or shines in the dark or emits light in the dark or all of the above. Do I not have more words? I swear I did. Well, I found a picture. That's not very exciting. And it's very yellow. And maybe it just goes over here somewhere. Or maybe it goes on here somewhere. Maybe it just doesn't go on this page. I don't think it goes on this page. Oh, here we go. How about, oh, this is a good one. I found one for this. Shadow and light. Look at shadow and light. Look at all the reflected light on there. And look at this lovely shadow word. Oh, good grief. Girl, you are such a scatterbrain. Okay. Shadow and light. But we can't just throw it on there like that. We need some sort of framing for this word. Not much though. Gosh, I really like the way it looks. What if we tried this? Does that work? Is that just dumb? It's not exciting. It's not interesting. No, it's just dumb. Okay, bye you. See you, bye. Shadow and light, shadow and light, shadow and light. But now look at, I'm making a whole tag rather than a cluster. Okay, if I move this way up here, can we do like that as a cluster? It doesn't demonstrate shadow and light that well if I cut off too much. Wow. Okay, I might need to take a break this time because I'm not getting very far and my brain is not functioning. I wasn't supposed to be making a tag. I was supposed to be making a cluster. Oh, bother. Oh, bother. I am really kind of liking this too much to let it go. I am liking this way too much to let it go. So I wonder if we can take the raffia and put it under there, because we don't have any raffia in there yet, in the book yet at all. So I would have to find other places to put it then, right? Consistency, cohesive product, etc. But if I put just a strip under there, like so, it does match some of the colors in the flowers. It does match a bit of the rays of sun coming down. It does give a place for the shadow and light tagged part to sit. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this thing, and I just gotta figure out where it's okay to cut this off and still really demonstrate the shadow and light bit. I think I see a line I'm gonna follow, and I think I'm gonna tear it, and I think it's gonna be all raggedy. So I think I'm gonna tear up this flower and down this flower. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Up. Where is that flower cut off? Okay, right there. Up this flower. Down here. Don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at home. Up a little bit more to get over the top of this one. Down. And I'm not sure where this is going to end, so I think I'm going to go around this baby bottom flower and call it good like that. And then, you know what I could do is I could just make this lots smaller. I just make this a giant cluster. So I think I will make this, first of all, shallower by a strip, and then shorter by a strip. Put it right here on this edge, because that's the edge that I put everything. It's a rule, I said so. Oh, now the sunbeams are gone, but there is still plenty of this raffia color, so I'm not totally sad about that. Wonder if I could just unwind the threads of the twine, and then instead of throwing in yet another element, I wonder if I could cut a piece of this wider than the metallic bit and then unwind it. So unwind this end, right? Keep going, keep going, keep going, and make sure that this end also frays quite a bit. And then just kind of pull, but not all the way. It's going to shorten it up quite a bit, so I hope I made it long enough. I think I did. It looks like I did. I pulled that apart too far. Now it came completely apart, and I didn't want that. But this might still work. This one might have to go because it's not behaving. Alright, let's try this. So now, can we put this all the way across the bottom? And then this would go here. We'd have to fray this a little more. It's not behaving. Do you see this? Misbehaving string. It's going to get fired if it's not careful. Okay. And then, oh, well, now I've completely defeated. Okay, can't do it that way. So I got to put the paper down and then this, which is going to be easier to glue anyway. So that's okay. And then this has to be kind of tucked in, like so. Do I love it? I love it. Okay. Now, that took entirely too much time. If you are in the same boat that I am, though, make sure that you give yourself time to do ridiculous things like that, because it's worth it to get what you want. If it doesn't quite look right, play with all the pieces. If you're mad at a piece, throw it away. Okay, I am mixing my greens now because I'm starting to run out of green watercolor paint. And I do not want to add the metallics yet. We are going to be adding metallics to the book, but there are enough large sections of metallic in there already. So I won't be doing that on much of anything that we're doing right now. What did I pull it out for? We did use a metallic. Last week or the week before, we used a metallic for something. So I'm not saying I for sure won't do it at all, period. But I am saying it's going to be few and far between till we're all done. And then we're going to do some tricks with the metallic. Alright, I'm going to let that soak in for a sec while we do the other pieces. So adding the edging to the shadow and light bit is not really going to do much of anything. I'm actually going to slip into a dark, strange brown color they have in here that doesn't go with anything we're doing, because what I'm doing right now doesn't matter. I'm just covering up as best I can anyway. This does not seem to be taking this white edge. The core is white, as you see when we tear this stuff, right? And I just don't want that white core showing up. It just, to me, it just looks better if it appears to be solid core paper. If I could afford solid core paper, I would totally do that. But this is a 100% junk edition, and I just cut up a book for this, and apparently the bookmakers couldn't afford solid core paper either. Because truthfully, if you use solid core paper to do a whole book, nobody would buy your book. It would cost so much money. I mean, nothing's 100%, but in all likelihood, it would be prohibitive. But I do like to create a look of solid core paper, even though it's not a reality. Should we? Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. I'm gonna do some green edging on the string too, because I wanna. Okay, let's do some edging on this puppy as well, since we're doing edging and letting it all dry. Let's get this one done. Probably should have done a little more yellow green in this one. In fact, it's not too late. I can, because of that tree leaf situation on the one side. We can copy some of that color. I am not overstressing any of the coloring right here, as long as I get all of them in greens that complement each other. If they complement each other and the book as a whole, all the better. This one's going to be trickier. This is a darker forest green, and we are using more citrusy greens, army greens, and blue greens. So, I mean, we're using every green except the green that's in here. Oh, I think that works though. Yep, I'm not hating that. Lucky duck. I'm telling you, because I didn't do anything special or try anything special. I just swirled the paintbrush in all the green spots. That's my professional advice. If you want a specific green, just mix all the greens. And it will magically be the right green. Okay, the green I ended with is not the same as the green I started with. It's okay. I'm okay with that. Let's pat that dry a speck. Let it dry a speck more. I think I'm gonna just finally get some clean water. This is really looking like a mud bucket now. My poor water holder is just such a mess. I'm glad this is watercolor. If I wasn't using watercolors today, this would be such a disaster because this thing would never be clean again. Okay, if that's clean water, I'm Grandpa Jones. Okay, there we go. So we have this because I love the way it mimics these flowers. These flowers are now tall enough in their cluster, and I can still call it a cluster, to be mimicked in here. That's going to go right there. Let's go ahead and glue that down. It is not, I repeat, not 100% necessary to use liquid glue to get the string to stay down. And I am going to actually not use liquid glue to prove it. So the caveat, not a caveat, but what you have to keep in mind is that this is not going to stick down to the page that well for a while. So it does take a little more care. If all you have is a glue stick, you can still do this. But glue stick is not supposed to hold on to stuff like this. This is asking it to do a lot. Now it's stuck to my fingers instead of the page. I can do this, really. Okay, let go. No. Okay, wait.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I didn't ask you. Okay, there we go. No, I don't like how uneven that is. Okay, there we go. That, I think, is right, but... Okay. I think I might leave this over the edges of the cluster and fray them a little bit more once the glue is dried, and this is going to stay where it is. Also, I do not like the bottom of this tag now, so I am going to... this cluster, see, tag. I got tag on the brain. This is not a tag. But I'm going to tear this off and re-green it. I didn't mean to go into the metallic bit, but I did. So, whatever. And I want some more of this off, and I didn't mean to take that much off, but I did, so there you go. Alright, green, re-green, re-greening is important for the planet, and it's important in art. Everyone must re-green. I have to re-green my front yard. I had a tree pass away, and we had to get rid of it. It was going to start becoming a problem. I think it was actually either passed or on its way out the door when we bought the house. But after a couple of years, it was clear that it was going to become a danger. So we had to get rid of it. Now, I have a very bare spot in my yard, and I want to put in something new. I am going to use my liquid glue on this bit only because it's so tiny that this will just be easier. And then I'm going to tuck it in right there. Let go of me. I'm gluing myself to the project. Let go of me. Oh, it's lopsided. It's lopsided, guys. Not by much, though. There we go. If I keep adjusting that, I will adjust it right off the page. So I'm going to just stop right there. Stop it. Stop it. We have this big cluster. We have a semi-cluster over here. This isn't even a finished product, right? But we have this staggered garden wall bit going on. Kind of loving that. Does it need a word? So it can't have that noctilucent word because that doesn't fit. Rays stream down through the trees. It can't have that. That doesn't work. It doesn't need the word kings. I don't even know why I have that word, because I don't want to use it. Could we just go like that? Why? That doesn't really look good anyway. Could we? I've been wondering if I can tear a section of this stuff off, which this might work because it kind of goes with the vinies back there. So I'm kind of wondering. Here, let's try this. Oh, but I was going to make a card out of this. But I don't even know if we need a card. But we do need stuff for the back of the book. Gosh darn me and a half. Okay, well, I'm doing this anyway because I've been wanting to do this, and this is a really good place to do it. Oh, good grief. I'm not saying we won't have enough to make a card out of. I'm just saying it was so perfectly kind of poised, right? So now, can this go here is my question. Well, it can, but I don't like it as much as I thought I would. What if I brought it down more? Kind of, but it really should have 3, not 2. Oh my gosh. That is some serious artist dorkiness, isn't it? It needs to have 3 pieces on the leaves, not 2. Okay. Let's pull off a bunch of the extraneous bits. What happens if we paint the edges green? Because we're painting all the edges green in this entire section. This is a really big section of the book, so I'm not mad that we're not getting past this section. Creating clusters and this fold-out bit are almost enough to be a whole separate project. I mean, except for the fact that it's already glued into a journal, right? It could totally be a standalone folio kind of deal. All right, so there is that bit that could totally go like that. Is it covering anything interesting? Oh, well, sort of. Then it could go like that, and it has an orange one peeking out from behind. And it's still showing some of those yellow ones. Okay, I like that. then what if I just take one that I can have facing the other direction? Like, I'm going to tear this off and save that chunk for later. So what if I just take this bit right here, and then can I put this bit peeking in over here or down here? I think maybe like that. Possibly. Let me take out the extraneous since we did everywhere else. I think we need to here. Okay, I don't know what I mean by everywhere else because it's just on that one other piece. I think I need to take out a little bit more. This is getting really hard to tear because it's too tiny for my fat little fingers. There we go. I think I might have to leave it at that. Let's green it up. Green. Green, 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 green. Oh gosh, we're over time already and I'm not done. Alright, I am going to glue this together. I am going to what? I'm going to let all this stuff dry. I'm going to glue it together and then I'm going to come back and end this video by showing you what we did and what's next. So I am going to pause. I am going to pause just for those bits because we're running over. So hang in there. I'll be right back. You won't even know I was gone. All right, let's take a peek at where things are ending for this episode. So we had this finished already, but some stuff had to be fixed on this side. This now goes in much easier, although now it's making a liar out of me and sticking. This also goes in much easier. So we've got this done. Turn the page, turn the page. This is, I mean, quite obviously not done because I do like the added color that fixes the hole in the pocket for the most part. Oh, it didn't reach far enough. But this is still awfully just, you know, white pocket. So we might add a little more here or something somewhere to jazz it up on one side or the other. The fold out and the clusters is where we left it. So I made a cut right along the top line of this little flippy plant, and I tucked the new little piece in. So I'm happy with that. So this is the way this cluster ended up looking, and I took the paintbrush, and for this side I went up the page with the paintbrush this way, horizontal, and I did a bunch of green and I lined the whole thing. I did it a little different again, but a little different, right? So I'm echoing the mock grass, which, I mean, now that I'm looking at it, hold on. I shouldn't be doing this. It needs to be the end of the show, but it needs a little more free flow to it. So I'm going to put another little bit. Okay, we'll just do that. Anyway, I did that horizontal and made a line all the way up to do the whole lining in green thing. And then we open up the flip out, lots and lots and lots of writing slash gluing slash whatever space. And then there is the other blue cluster that we made. And for this one, I turned the paintbrush vertical. So these lines back here are much, much smaller. They only mimic slash echo, right, that design. Since I added more of this yellow green to the front. I'm going to add touches of it here as well. If I can get it to go, whoops, well, there we go. Yeah. Okay, like that. That's where we're leaving it this time. We have work to do, but that's where we're going to pick up next time. Thank you again, as always. Next time we will be, oh, let's see where we left off, just so we know what we're doing. The fold out line hints, we didn't need to do clusters. We did 2 of, we might need more, I don't know, won't know till later. But that was a big bit because we needed to go backward a little and finish up some stuff and repair the pocket, and we fixed the pocket and fixed and added to the tag, and then did the 2 clusters, and clusters take a bit for me, so not too terribly shabby, but there you go. That's where we're picking up on the moldy pocket page. Yep, the moldy pocket page. Alrighty, see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe, all the happy things for all of the people on YouTube, that you get some sort of entertainment or inspiration or happy or whatever value out of. Even venting your fury if you have some that, you know, those people who like take up all the hard subjects. They have value. And, you know, being angry over things that you should be angry about have value. Okay, anyway, bye. See you next time.